Yeah, and it's not necessarily, so obviously cost is always a factor everyone looks at, but I think key is, as you mentioned, to look at the right things, and make sure that the pipeline is full for these kind of initiatives. This is where we, for example, bring in process mining, isn't it? To find out in what areas of the business um, is the potential. Very often, if you ask each department, everyone comes up with an idea or several ideas because they know where the pain is on a daily basis. They know they're doing stupid copy and paste like 4 hours a week. So if you multiply this several departments, several regions and entities, that kind of stuff adds up very quickly. And we probably shouldn't talk about pricing too much. Sure, you have to look at it, but very often the value outweighs that anyway. So, but initially, I guess you have to look at, do your math and calculate all that stuff. Yeah, and it is very useful to find the really high impact opportunities and to build up this pipeline, either for this low code app development candidates or even software robotics, so RPA candidates. Yeah, there are so many areas. Costs is obviously one thing, but you can also look at it. Well, how much more could the business perform? Could the business do without looking at the cost of staff? You could look at it as, if we put this in place and get this problem solved, and or all these problems solved, how much more capacity do we have for more? Can we do 10 times more output potentially by
Yeah.
doing good end-to-end automation? Are we one of the businesses who achieve 80% end-to-end automation? If you look at it, most businesses, there's huge potential, but you need the visibility, and process mining is one aspect, I guess. More and more companies are looking at. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Something to analyze during a discovery phase, and when setting up your sort of potentially your center of excellences. So this is all what they are doing day in day out generally to find good candidates and opportunities within the business.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, we shouldn't talk about too much about these costs, I guess, because value usually it should outweigh a 10x, 20x.
Yeah, but I think, for me, it's we always talk about innovation with inside a business, and if innovation means a lot of things to a lot of people, but I
Hmm.
think innovation could be something very small, like um, automating a very simple manual process. Now, for one person, that possibly is not too innovative, but for another person that has to deal with a lot of manual processes where emails get fired at them, and they have to deal with a lot of emails with inside their uh, inbox and put emails in different folders. That's quite innovative. If there's an opportunity for them to automate a process where invoices arrives, they create a small little process that can take those invoices, attach it to a case or to a workflow, route that for approval. And then all of a sudden, you've got a business process that's automated, that you can have some interesting metrics,
Mm.
what everything is. And that's innovative, right? And, a scenario like that doesn't take long to implement in low code. And it doesn't take a technical person, for example, to be able to automate that. That
Mm.
is something quite straightforward with these low code products. If you take that a step further, you say, well, with inside this process, I have got double keying in information from the invoice to the finance system, or maybe that's the part that there's a gap for a robot to be plugged in.
Mm.
We've dealt with this approval business. Now we can actually, for this particular task where the invoice gets captured in our finance system, train a robot to do that, plug that into your process. Now, all of a sudden, you've got, a process that's, tenfold better, because you can scale now. No matter how many invoices come in, you could quickly manage them. You could send them for approval, and you've got a robot that does the keying into your backend system. And again, that's innovative. It's only a small example. So scale that across the business. There could be a lot of these innovative ideas that really makes a big difference. The sum of all of it, and I think that's the key of these low-code platforms, not to take these great ideas, throw them at IT. IT is busy, and it sort of just goes into the realms of a backlog somewhere, and it takes long to implement it. We want to expedite that innovation and provide people the tools to actually go and innovate themselves. And when they actually arrive at these innovative, let's say, lighter touch point solutions that solve problems for them, if that then needs to go to IT because it's becoming something that becomes key to a business, at least you've got something functional. At least you've got something that's already saving time. All you then need to do is have that discussion with IT and say, we want this as a managed sort of application now, because we can't afford for this thing to be down. Can you guys help us? We've used very standard low-code platforms. We haven't done something out of the ordinary here. This is not something that is totally crazy. It is just using normal technology that's from vendors, that is quite transparent. It's easily manageable, easily supportable. Take that into your support kind of process, and make sure it runs. And continue on that track, allow people to innovate inside the business.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think only that approach will allow or will make sure they are not just coming up with some weird solutions, isn't it? So that would be the downside. If you're very strict as IT, they still have the problem to solve. IT is not solving it. At some point, that everyone becomes very inventive, and this I think being inventive means, or in the past, it always meant this shadow IT. We talked about this earlier. So people had servers under their desk running sort of business critical stuff, and then that a person moves on into another position or so, and no one knows that there's a server, and then suddenly these IT requests coming in, and IT just freaks out and say, "What is this? We have a business critical application here somewhere on the server." And if they come up with this was sort of like a good partnership, a bit of a governance, a few set of rules, and otherwise, here's a good platform. You can do stuff here. It's nicely in boundaries, and then everyone really, can start. And
it's nothing new. I think there's nothing new here. I think that the boundaries of opportunity has just shifted quite a lot. If we look at for instance at the Microsoft Power Automate platform, that provides eat as much as you want automation to a variety of business users, and it's inside the governance of what the Power Automate platform provides you. So it's very easy for me to create a Microsoft flow that when an email arrives, I could look at that email, look at the contents of the email, and kick off a flow that does specific things. So what we're talking about here in terms of governance and creating these apps, it's nothing new. It is already there. I think the point here is that it's just sort of raising that awareness that these platforms exist. People could use these platforms to self sort of diagnose and implement problems, and do so very quickly. And it doesn't have to be very sort of elaborate type solution, enterprise grade things. It is problems that solves issues inside your department, for example. Most of the low-code platforms, if not all, provides those governance around security, data protection, release management, scalability. So that's all assumed. So all it provides you is this ability to create these applications very quickly, and it opens that up to the masses, right? And I think sometimes that's kind of a bit overlooked, where we we look at a problem. On the surface, it looks like we need to engage a development team, but that's not always the case, right? For let's say, for example, a simple supplier onboarding. Well, the supplier onboarding is a form. You fill it out. It goes for review, credit checking. It might then send a questionnaire back to the supplier to attach some documentation as to their compliancy, maybe some insurance. They've got liability insurance. It goes back to a team. Once it's done, it gets persisted in a back office system. Now, all of that is possible in a low-code world by using a citizen developer, because all you're really doing is you're creating a digital form, you're stringing together a workflow, you're creating a DocuSign integration perhaps for your electronic signature, and you've got a bit of RPA that integrates with the back office system. And if you have quite a large volume of suppliers that you onboard, a simple solution like this compared to, like, let's say, an Excel-based solution where supplier onboardings go to a centralized inbox, somebody logs it in Excel spreadsheets so they can keep track of it. It's 100-fold better because A, it's centralized, B, it's not dark data somewhere in Excel where somebody needs to know how to update stuff. And that's the sort of thing that we're talking about here.
Yeah, tremendous opportunities for every business to really look at, and we say it in plenty of our episodes. Yeah, if you on this journey already, or started the journey, or very interested to start the journey, Arno and I are here for you. So if you have any questions on the low-code topic and any other automation topics, visit our website, theautomationguys.net. There you can just connect with us or find us on all the social channels. And we have all the partnerships, so we are very broad in partnerships. We're not focused on just one sort of technology. So if you need sort of some advice on what is the right approach, what is the right technology, the right vendor for that, I think we have lots of experience, and happy to advise there. And we can get you started on some really good trial packages you probably wouldn't get otherwise. So reach out to us and we can set you up there with trials and get you started on that journey. Arne, anything you like to add?
No, and I think, like, I can just echo what Sasha said. Reach out to us. I think that part of what we do is to look at problems and to size it up and to understand, if you come to us with a problem, we can very quickly provide you an estimate how that would potentially look like in low code. And I can guarantee you, compared to conventional development, that number will be far lower than conventional development. And of course, the implementation timeframes will be far less than conventional development as well. So, I would invite our listeners to, and almost challenge them to bring these problems to us, these business problems they have. And we could look at that and really explore what that would take to implement with inside a low-code platform, just to give you that different perspective and that different view of what automation can cost for your business, but also what value it brings and how quickly you could do that. And also, just sort of contrast that against your conventional approaches. We are obviously work very closely with customers that brings us these problems every day. So it's second nature for us to provide these estimates, and we know that's important to bring these estimates into business cases. So it is a place where we can help if you're looking at your next automation project and the costings around it and sort of the benefits it provide your business. We can help with all of that.
Great. Yeah. Thank you very much, Arno. Yeah, another session on low code. So we have plenty of episodes on our podcast. If you're not a regular follower or subscriber yet, I recommend you subscribe to this podcast. Lots of really good stuff coming out every week. And that will be it for today. And thank you very much for listening. Unfortunately, that's it again with this episode of the Process and Automation podcast. If you liked this episode, please give us a 5-star rating and don't forget to subscribe to this podcast so you don't miss any upcoming episode. We hope you will tune in next time, and until then, let's automate it.